Here are a few of the stories we have this week.
Secretary Shinseki paid condolences at the Japanese embassy.
We have yet more proof the blind do not have to also be inactive.
And this veteran is proving that the possibilities are limitless if you bring a positive attitude to VA's compensated work therapy program.
We're coming right back, so stay right there.
Hello, I'm Thomas Middleton with the Office of Diversity and Inclusion.
And I'm Yvonne Rannells, also with the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Thank you for joining us today. VA Secretary Eric K. Shinseki took time last week to pay respects to the people of Japan in a visit with Ichiro Fujisaki, the Japanese ambassador to the United States. Secretary Shinseki, a Japanese American, wanted to express his personal sympathy to the ambassador for the tremendous loss of life and property and the continuing dangers faced by survivors of the earthquake and tsunami. Fujisaki greeted the secretary outside the Embassy of Japan in Washington and then escorted him inside, where Secretary Shinseki wrote condolences in a special book.
Efforts to have Frank Buckles lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda were rebuffed by congressional leadership. The last American survivor of World War I was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery on March 15th. President Obama and Vice President Biden paid their respects to Buckles' daughter, Susanna Flanagan, at the cemetery chapel, where Buckles lay in state most of the day before his burial. Also attending the funeral were Army Secretary John McHugh, Secretary Shinseki, and West Virginia's two U.S. Senators Jay Rockefeller and Joe Manchin. Buckles' grave is on the side of a hill surrounded by cedar trees, with views of the Washington Monument, Capitol Dome, and the Jefferson Memorial to the north. At the crest of the hill, 50 yards away, sits the grave of General John Pershing, under whose command Buckles served, along with a plaque commemorating the 116,516 Americans who died in World War I.
The Department of Veterans Affairs has many programs to help veterans reintegrate into civilian life. Ray Blackiston is a grill cook at VA Central Office whose life was changed by one such program.
Back home out in the street and seeing the drug dealers and stuff making all this money and everything, so I thought maybe I could do it too. So I put my hands in and tried it and everything. Well, I wasn't a very good drug dealer because I ended up becoming a drug user. Which in turn got me in jail, and I did some times, and while I'm in jail I ended up being divorced and lost my family. In turn, when I got out of jail, I had no place to go down there, so I thought maybe I'd come back to DC and try to start life all over again. When I got here, sitting on the bench in the waiting room in the doctor's office, I can hear some of the other older veterans talking about the different programs they had there. So I in turn found out about the CWT program.
The CWT program, or Compensated Work Therapy Program, is a program that provides veterans realistic and meaningful vocational opportunities while encouraging successful reintegration into the community. The program accomplishes this by setting up veterans with local businesses and gives the veteran a chance to learn and work within their field of interest, providing them with the tools to succeed.
Well, Ray is one of those real success stories. He's the guy that you really want to do everything you can to make it happen for him, because his heart was in the right place. I mean, he was down on his luck. He, Army veteran, got involved in drugs, and he was really on a downward spiral. Went to the medical center under the Compensated Work Therapy Program, and just showed his stuff, and he developed to a point where he came down here to VACO and introduced himself to Sharon.
One day I was sitting at my desk working, and I turned around and there was a gentleman standing there, and he says, "I'm looking for a job." And I looked at him and I said, "How did you get into the building?" And he said, "Oh, I have a badge." And so I said to him, "You work over at another location?" And he said, "Yes, I work through the CWT program."
Ray is a success story of the CWT program and realizes the potential the CWT program has.
Want to encourage some of them other brothers and sisters that's still out there, you know, keep hope alive and keep coming back, because if you try hard enough, it's there. You can do it.
Find out more about VA's compensated work therapy program at the web address on the screen. And if you see Ray in the VA Cafe, don't be afraid to say hi. The Washington, D.C. VA Medical Center's Rehabilitative and Therapy Program has been building strength and confidence in veterans at the hospital through the ancient art of judo.
The patients taking the class are blind veterans. Art Gardner got the story for us.
When I lift, I'm putting pressure on his elbow.
Visually impaired veterans at the Washington, D.C. VA Medical Center are learning judo in order to compensate one strength for another.
Judo is an offshoot of jiu-jitsu. It's called the gentle way. It's using minimum effort to get maximum efficiency. It helps them to build strength, agility, confidence.
So I would go here, here, then here.
But these veterans have more to overcome than most.
We take into consideration that they, are visually impaired. So instead of giving visual cues, we give auditory cues. Take our left foot to the east. Ready? Go. One of the things that they must learn how to do is fall successfully. And that's the hardest thing for them, especially those that are totally blind, because they have problems with their balance.
Before I started judo, I didn't fall right, so I kind of sprained my wrist. So now that I'm taking judo, I'm learning the best way to fall without hurting myself.
See, he taps twice and it's over.
Art Gardner, VA News.
Lily Kennedy, the supervisor of the rehab and therapy program, said judo is a tool for the veterans to build confidence, maintain their independence, and overcome fears of being an easy target due to their loss of vision.
Here's a compelling story from the March edition of The American Veteran. It's entitled Learning to Live.
As the only two children in an Army family, Emerald and Ian Ralston relied on each other, often on their own, but always together.
We moved around a little bit, so we were kind of just immediate best friends because we had no one else, all the time.
So when Ian joined the Army as a high school senior in 2004 as a combat medic, he and his sister knew the separation would be difficult.
For the most part, it was just good to know that he was doing what he loved, and he was good at it.
Yet one morning in May 2010, all of that changed. Ian was on a routine convoy when a roadside bomb rocked his Humvee, sending a tiny piece of shrapnel into Ian's spine, leaving him paralyzed from the neck down.
I heard the blast, and it just dropped. And then I was thinking to myself that I was, dead. I didn't know what happened, so that's what I thought. I'd never been hit before.
He had tubes coming out of his mouth and that he couldn't talk. He could blink to communicate, so it was very hard.
Just as difficult was Ian's prognosis. Doctors said he would never again be able to talk, to swallow, or to lead any sort of normal life. But Ian and Emerald were determined to prove them wrong. Ian knew he had months of recovery and therapy ahead of him, but he also knew he'd have lots of help and support, with his sister by his side every day.
I was thinking we would probably do the FES bike today. What do you think?
Much of that recovery has happened here at the Minneapolis VA Medical Center, where Ian has both Emerald and his girlfriend Nicole helping with his therapy. Told he may never talk again, he's now able to hold entire conversations.
How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
How about yourself?
And soon he hopes to breathe again entirely on his own. All of that, he says, is thanks to the support and care he's gotten from his sister and girlfriend.
This foot's not in there yet.
And to the team of VA specialists who are helping him regain the life he once had.
The VA's been great. Nursing staff's wonderful. They've definitely helped me out a great deal with my therapies and my needs.
The caregivers at VA's Minneapolis Medical Center are giving Ian back his health and his hope.
For anyone else out there with injuries like this, keep your head up. Don't give up hope. Just keep doing what you can to better and improve yourself.
For Ian, that means continuing his therapy. One day he hopes to walk again and knows his sister will be with him every step of the way.
We'll have a preview of the April edition of the American Veteran in next week's show.
Did you know? In honor of Women's History Month, VA has been celebrating the accomplishments of female service members in various events and programs at Central Office and around the country. VA has used Facebook, Twitter, and the VA blog to collect 170 photos of women in uniform as another way to pay tribute to them. These are just a few of the photos. You can see them all on the VA Flickr page at the address on the screen.
And that's all we have for this week's VA News. I'm Thomas Middleton.
And I am Yvonne Rannells. We wish you all a really great week. See you next time.